लोकभास आणि लोकसंस्कृती हांचें नातें खूब लागींचें आसता. गोंयांत आमकां अनुभव आयलो तो असो की ज्या घटकान लोकभास सोडल्या त्या घटकां मदली लोकसंस्कृती ना नपश्चात जावन गेल्या. पूण हाजे उरफाटें एक चित्र आमकां गोंय भायर दिसून येता आनी भोव करून दक्षिणेक गोंयच्यान जे वेगळे वेगळे घटक गेले तांणी आपली लोकभास सांबाळ्ळी आनी लोकभास सांबाळिल्ल्यान ते लोकसंस्कृती सांबाळून दवरूंक पावल्यात. देखीच घेतली जाल्यार आमच्यांनी सिद्धींची देख घेवं येता, जाणी लोकभास आपली भास मायभास सांबाळ्ळ्या आनी तातूंतल्यान कोंकणी लोकसंस्कृती सांबाळ्ळ्या. भटकळचे नवायत मुसलमान भाव आसात आमचे, जाणी कोंकणी भास सांबाळ्ळ्या आनी ती सांबाळपाचो आनीकय प्रयत्न तांचे कडल्यान आज जायत आसा. तांचे मदले कांय लोक कोंकणींतल्यान साहित्यय निर्माण करतात. मागीर आनीक दक्षिणेक वचत जाल्यार आमकां केरळांत वैश्य समाज, कुणबी समाज, सारस्वत समाज हांणी वेगळे वेगळे तरांनी लोकसंस्कृतीचे वेगळे वेगळे प्रकार इतलीं वर्सां सांबाळून दवरल्यात हाजें अजाप दिसता. कारण ते गेल्यार आतां 400-450 वर्सां जावन आयलीं, कितल्योश्यो पिळग्यो गेल्यो. मल्याळम ही तांची मुखेल भास. ही सगळी परिस्थिती आसतनाय तांणी अभिमानान आपली मायभास सांबाळ्ळ्या आनी त्या मायभाशे वरवीं आपली कोंकणी लोकसंस्कृती सांबाळ्ळ्या. आनी देखून आज आमकां थंयचे लोकसंस्कृतीचे वेगळे वेगळे प्रकार ते ज्या आत्मविश्वासान सादर करतात ते पळोवपाची संदी मेळटा.
Famed in myth and history, Goa, an idyllic paradise, nestled with splendid nature, beloved of the gods. Goa has a long checkered history which dates back to the rule of different dynasties such as Bhojas, Mauryas, Chalukyas, Shilaharas, Kadambas, Vijayanagara, Bahmanis, and the Portuguese. Goa has a rich cultural heritage manifested through various folk performing art forms such as songs, dance, and rituals, accompanied with traditional music, devotional songs, feasts, and festivals. Goa is a land of Konkani people. But with the advent of the Portuguese in 1510 AD and religious conversions and desecration of places of worship, a large number of Konkani communities migrated to various parts of Karnataka and Kerala, mostly to Malabar and Calicut by the sea route. They settled up to Kochi. These communities mainly consisted of Kunbis, Vaishyavani, Daivadnyas, Kshatriyas, and God Saraswat Brahmins. They took shelter from the rulers, established themselves, and constructed temples of their own deities for regular worship. These migrated communities had to acquire the language and culture of their new homeland. But they retained their own language, Konkani, and their customs and Konkani culture. They coexisted with the locals. According to Shenoy Goembab, the Goans established and recreated a new Goa, influenced by intelligence and enterprise, even in the kingdom of Kochi. The Konkani community in Kerala has preserved their Konkani culture.
कुलभूषण दशरथ करी बाळा मनमोहन राम लक्ष्मण बाळा जो जो रे पालन्य लांबविले अयोध्येशी दशरथाचे वंशी पुत्रो जन्मला ऋषिकेशी कौशल्याचे खुशी बाळा जो जो रे.
The naming ceremony of a newborn child is held on the 12th day when the child is put in a decorated cradle. The Konkani communities of Kerala sing a very popular cradle song composed in Marathi and influenced by Konkani, which has become the folk tradition. This cradle song has been composed in 11 episodes, describing the various stages of childhood of the epic hero Rama. The first episode of this song is generally sung in almost all Konkani families to express their happiness.
गर्जत जय जयकारी बाळा जो जो रे
बाळा जो जो रे कुलभूषण दशरथानंदन निद्रा करी बाळा
मनमोहन राम लक्ष्मण बाळा जो जो रे. अशी थोडंसं कोण एका अज्जेन नत्ती सांगून दिवन नत्तीन ती गेल नत्रां सांगून दिवन अशी बरोवन नत्तिल्लें मलयाळेन ताका वामोळी म्हणटा न्ही तोंडान उरलो मातशें मुखा वटेन एकल्यान आनी एकल्याक सांगून दिवचें तें लोकगीत येदें सगळं आज
Goan folklore in the form of stories, proverbs, riddles, songs, dances and rituals have been expressed exclusively in Konkani, the language that they love and speak, the language of their hearts.
ताजे प्रभाव तांचेर पडटले म्हणलें बद्ध. तशी आम ते येदेच लोकगीत तुमचे मुखारी हांगा समर्पण करता. तितिरी तितिरी गोंयान तूं नर्सू गेल्लो पयान तूं पोयं गेल्लें होळनू नर्सू आयलो पोवनू तितिरी तितिरी गोंयान तूं नर्सू गेल्लो पयान तूं पोयं गेल्लें होळनू नर्सू आयलो पोवनू. ह्याच लेखान सान चर्दाक पय्यार बसोवन आंगणान आमचे पारव्यांक वोरव घालचे वेळेरी एक गीत म्हणप आशिल्लें आमगेले मालगड मनशांनी. अव्वांदो पव्वांदो एयाय रे आमगेल पुत्ताले अंगणान तूं खेळाय रे पव्याली चोंची घाल्लेल वरवेंची एक वरो उणें जालो पव्वो रे तो उबून गेल्लो पव्वांदो एयाय रे आमगेल पुत्ताले अंगणान तूं खेळाय रे. 4-5 ವರ್ಷం ಪ್ರಾಯಸ್ಸಿನ ಚೆರ್ಡು ಮೆದ್ದಿಂಜಣ ಎಕ್ಕಡೆ ಜಾವನ್ ವೃತ್ತಾಕೃತಿರಿ ಬೆಸೂನು ಎಕ್ಕಲೆ ಹತ್ತ ಉಂಚ आणि ಎಕ್ಕಲ್ हातुदो बोरनु एकार उंच हात शेगड एकडे कोंदो बोरनु मागीर आसले कोल कोणैतन तुले कंचरनु हात उद्दारी तिकोरनु अपो नंदो तुपान तुली रोंटी खयाय ओ नंदो तो नंदो खंदारो आणि एकल्या खंदारी लग्वेसल्या खंदारी हात दवरलो. दुसरी अपो नंदो तुपान तुली रोंटी खयाय ओ नंदो तो नंदो खंदारो लग्वेसल्या खंदारी हात दवरलो. अशी एक्के गेल्यानी परस्पर खंदांचेर हात दवरून जाव भितरी योगी तशी सूर जामतोलो
गाग पुता गागा
अप येतोलो गागा केकी हडतोलो गागा
बाबा
दितोलो गागा बाबू खातोलो गागा
बाबू करतलो गागा
चमकुआरा मुच्चे चरडाक चमकु चवळेरी मलगडे आणि गीत म्हणा पहिने हाता धरून चमकम चवळेरी चमक बाळे चमक चमक निदान तुले दोळे दोळे घुमटेचे भारान करतना चमकूक जायना तशीच 4-5 मास प्रायसिल चरडाक संजे दिवलाम जतरी दिव्या ज्योति लगी बोर्नु जोलचे ज्योति लगी बोर्नु चरडाल अवसुन जावो मलगड बैलान जावो ज्योति चेरी हाथ गुमडामनु मुंचे गींतस आलिल्यो मालिल्यो दिव्याचो कज्जल्यो पुत्ताचो निड्डल्यो छोडिल्यो आलिल्यो मालिल्यो दिव्याचो कज्जल्यो पुत्ताचो निड्डल्यो छोडिल्यो कक्या ತುಂಗೊಯ್ಯಾಂಗೆಲ್ಲೋಲ್ವೆ ಅವಂಗೆಲೆ ಪುತ್ತಾಲೆ ಮಮ್ಮ ದಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ವೇ ಆಜಿ ಫಲ್ಯ ಎತ್ತೊರೋ ಮಂತಾಲ್ವೇ ಅರೆ ಕಕ್ಯಾ ತುಂಗೊಯ್ಯಾಂಗೆಲ್ಲೋಲ್ವೆ
श्री लक्ष्मी रमणाक बाल मुकुंदाक जलांबितरी मत्स्य रूप घेतल्याक बला खातीरी कुर्म जाळू वाविल्याक नीलमेघ वर्ण श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी
Shobhani and Govud are other types of popular folk songs in the Konkani society of Kerala. These songs are mainly sung at marriage ceremonies or even on any auspicious occasion in the family. These songs are treated as the Mangala Charan, a request for blessings from the Almighty. These songs praise Lord Vishnu, Lakshmi, Shri Krishna, Rukmini and other deities.
दशरथ रैया गेली जन्मुखे तल्याक दशमुख रावणा नाशू केलेल्याक नाशू केलेले कंसा श्वासू सोडलेल्याक नीलमेघ वर्ण श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणीक उठबोरून हाती दकयाय शोभानी
वटेन वत्तल्या वट्टेचे बोळारा रुक्मिणी कुळारा बोलवे संगल्या हवनेण वाट.
Many folk songs are popular among the God Saraswat Brahmin community of Kerala. These songs narrate specific incidents or stories in lucid Konkani dialect. Vadar and Ganapati Choladu are the most famous folk songs. In the incident of Vadar, the newly married daughter-in-law is worried about the churning staff. Her parents have offered her every cooking utensil, but the churning staff was not included, for which she has to face the taunts of other ladies in the family. She sends a message to her parents through the bangle seller, describing her maternal house. The parents ignore the message, but the brother comes to the sister along with a golden churning staff and silver string. The song is the depiction of life in a joint family.
तक घंटित गोरी रुकुमिणी तक चलता खवल्याला गलगुळा तंतू दिखिल तिळा कस्तुरीचा.
द्रपसिका मणे आकासुरजेन्द्रो येवोनु पूजन केला राजा राजेंद्रो सिंगारू कोर्नु हल्ला चतुरदंदु हस्तो वराण वोरुक ऐला राजद परमा भक्तो वेंकटाद्री वासा स्वामी श्री वेंकटेशा धरणी देवी साहित्य राजान गोविंदू पूजन कल्याण त्यावरी मन्ना तू आनंदू सुगंध
Venkatesh Kalyan is a very popular ancient poem from the early 17th century, but the poet is unknown. It is based on Sri Venkatesh Mahatmya, which means the greatness of Lord Venkatesh. It is written in 4 chapters, which depicts the Konkani dialect used in Kerala in the early 17th century. The music composers have composed each chapter in different ragas and talas. It is traditionally sung in almost all Gadu Saraswat Brahmin families in Kochi even now.
विश्वकर्मण निर्मण करिले मंटप नवरत्न खंजते खंबे वेदिक गरिल्या त्यावरी मती यांचं सोगू घालतले वेदिकामध्ये नवरत्नासना गाले
यशोदी सुंदरी कृष्ण लूटी बारी कर्त गो मुरारी सांगत का अशी म्हणू गोप्यो संत यशोदेक व्रत करियेक बुद्धी चांगी वाईट ते गुण वतले तजान.
Another popular story song is Ganapaticho Ladu. In order to remove the mischievous nature of child Krishna, Yashoda prepares Ladu and Modak to offer it to Lord Ganapati. She goes to bring incense required for the puja. Bal Krishna eats the Ladu and the Modak. On the arrival of Yashoda, Bal Krishna narrates a story that a giant seated on a rat came along with 1,000 mice, and he ate the Ladu and Modak. An angry Yashoda slaps Krishna's face and asks him to open his mouth. When he opens his mouth, Yashoda sees the Brahmand in it. The story song portrays a mother's love and devotion.
पूज्य जावो पूता दीन तुका लड्डू हात बोरनो अशी म्हणू ताका ती गेली बाहेर इंगाळो आडूक नैवेद्याक लड्डू वाचे लग्गी आसिलो श्रीकृष्णू ताणे गिळ्ळो लड्डू सर्व घेवनू मोदक तो गिळ्ळो घसाये कुपळ्ळो त्या वेळार यशोदी पावली थंय नैवेद्याचो लड्डू नई काय थंय कृष्णू सांगता अम्मा मज्जी आयक
भायर तूं गेल्ली हजार उंदीर ऐले अंगात थोर सत्य सत्य तंतु एक होडू उंदीरू आसिल्लो ताजे फाटीर बेसरो भयंकरू
वै गे माय तुम्ही उतुले दिस खंताई गेल्लेली गे तुम्ही खंताई गेल्लेली गे
ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಗಾಮಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡೆ ಸೈಬಾನ ಧೋರ್ನು ವೆಲ್ಲೆಲಿಂಗ ಅಮ್ಕ ಧೋರ್ನು ವೆಲ್ಲೆಲಿಂಗ.
ಓಹೋ ಹಂತೂಣ ಮಂಚ ತಾನೆ ಪೊಡುಕದಿಲ್ಲೊಲೊಗೆ ತುಮ್ಕ ಪೊಡುಕದಿಲ್ಲೊಲೊಗೆ
ನಾಗಾಮಮ್ಮ ಸಕಾಚೊ ಕುಟುಕೋ ಆಂಗ ದುಃಖತಾಗ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಆಂಗ ದುಃಖತಾಗ.
ओहो असो साईबाचे हाता सकून कशी सुंटलिंगे तुम्ही कशी सुंटलिंगे
सामानाचे तरवारी बेसून निपून ऐलिंगा आम्ही गावांतू पावलिंगा. सामानाचे तरवारी बेसून निपून ऐलिंगा आम्ही गावांतू पावलिंगा दोन्ही दम्माचो पाय सुकरीन तिन्ही दम्माचे खोदने मारीन केदन येतोलो जावई केदन येतोलो जाम येलो मोगाचो पाय सुकेलो मुगाचो कोच्ची थकून भावडी आयला आकावरुवे कर्टिंकांतून पाय सुकेला भावडे वाडुबे येदे चेडुवा उदात पैगो नागडो भावडी नामच्या आयल्यार चेंबू निपैगो नागडो भावडी नामच्या आयल्यार चेंबू निपैगो
The Konkani Vaishya Society of Kerala celebrates the Godde Ramayana in the premises of Sri Janardhan Temple, Amravati in Kochi on Falgun Shuddha Dwadashi, the 12th day of the bright half of the Hindu month of Falgun. Godde Ramayana is the first Konkani epic of Kerala, written in altogether 8 chapters in Malayalam script. This ancient epic is based on Valmiki's Ramayana that commences with the invocation to Lord Ganesh and then other deities in sequence. The storyline commences with Shravan's episode, followed by the story of Ramayana as conceived by Valmiki. This epic is recited by 2 sisters of a Shetty family of Kochi as a ritual to appeal to the Godde in a folk performing style. The rhythm is provided by male members of the Vaishya community with the help of percussions such as a huge drum and chenda. The ritual starts from the nearby Brahma temple and arrives at the Janardhan temple in a ceremonial procession.
अरे पुता सर्वणा तानला दिलेगा अरे पुता सर्वणा तानला दिलेगा चित्रकूटा पर्वधारी श्रीरामू भविलोगा चित्रकूटा पर्वधारी श्रीरामू भविलोगा अरे पुता सर्वणा.
Of the total 5.3 crore population of Karnataka, around 1.8% is Konkani, mostly settled in the North Kannada district, that too in coastal Karnataka. These communities consist of Kharvis, meaning fisherfolk, Navayats of Bhatkal, Daivadnyas, as well as the Gauda Saraswat Brahmins, Vaishyas, Ombudsman, Kunbis and Siddhis. Except for a few Kunbis and Gaudas, most of them settled in the forest regions of the district. The Konkani fishermen community with the surname of Kharvi thickly populate the fishing village of Mavin Kurve in Bhatkal town. They speak Konkani with their family members, but for any official purpose, they use Kannada as their official language. They celebrate the annual folk festival called Shigmo. As a part of the celebration, the menfolk wear colorful costumes and sing Konkani folk songs. They dance to the beat of a folk percussion instrument called Ghumat, which originated in Goa. The dance is generally called Shigmya Khel. Most of the songs presented after the invocatory song are based on family and social issues. They also sing songs pertaining to the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Their dance steps portray the immense enthusiasm and vigor of the young Kharvis.
परमळ घेऊन नाचो आणि सेवते पोलाच्या परमळ घेऊन नाचो मग फुलाच्या परमळ घेऊन नाचो आणि सेवते पोलाच्या परमळ घेऊन नाचो ते फुला माळ ताळी रो अर्धा रात्री रता चढवा माळी रो फुला माळ ताळी रो अर्धा रात्री रता चढवा अर्धा रात्री रता चढवा माळीरो अर्धा रात्री रता चढवा माळीरो आणि या वाटेन कोण राय चाला ओ राया या वाटेन कोण राय चाला ओ या वाटेन हनुमंत देव चाला ओ राया या वाटेन हनुमंत देव चाला ओ या वाटेन हनुमंत देव चाला
The women folk of the Kharvis of Mavin Kurve speak Konkani on all occasions in the family. They are engaged in unloading fishing boats and trawlers and simultaneously loading the catch onto motor vehicles. They sing Konkani songs on various occasions and especially during the marriage ceremony of community members.
चलतम चल रात्रि दिवस रात्रि दिव्यवात चलतम चल रात दिवस रात दिव्यवात चलतम चल रात्रि दिवस रात दिव्यवात निदेनु दोळे जमतारे देव निदेनु दोळे जमतारे निदेनु दोळे जमतारे देव निदेनु दोळे जमतारे हात पैये वळतारे देवात पैये वळतारे हात पैये वळतारे देवात पैये वळतारे चलतम चल रात्रि दिवस रात दिव्यवात.
Through the folk songs, they express their feelings about their hard lives, agony, and also happiness.
चलतम चल रात दिवस रात दिव्यवात अंदेलू गुंदेलू लुटिले तेलू रांगेरोयनु माडे वचन बोयनु कुंडे वचन पाड़ा पदी ऋषि मिर्चुड़यालू अंदेलू गुंदेलू लुटिले तेलू रांगेरोयनु माडे वचन बोयनु.
Marriage songs are sung for almost all occasions, such as anointing the bride or bridegroom with oil and turmeric, bathing, wearing clothes, garments and jewelry, proceeding to the venue of the marriage, and also pertaining to various stages of the return of the wedded couple to the home of the bridegroom. Dhalo is the annual festival of Konkani communities. It is also celebrated by the Kharvi women folk of Mavin Kurve. The occasion arises in the Hindu month of Pausha or Magha, the 10th and 11th month of the Hindu calendar. They gather in an open courtyard on a moonlit night, and forming two rows, the participants sing and dance to dhalo songs. These songs offer invocation to the local deities and then go on to sing about the different aspects of family life that they enjoy. After performing for a while, they form a circle and perform various dances while holding hands with each other or clapping to express their joy and happiness. They describe various incidents through songs.
तुमच्या पोरड बाये केद्दा ओडुगे तुमच्या पोरड बाये केद्दा ओडुगे
Navayat means a newcomer. They are a small yet significant sect among Muslims who belong to the Sunni Shafi school of thought, living in and around Bhatkar. Their old settlements comprise of clusters of old structures in compact areas called sais. The traditional code of dress for Navayat men consists of kurta, lungi and topi. Their ladies have opted for the local Indian way of dressing with the burqa. Navayats are deeply religious-minded people. Around 80 mosques in Bhatkar town bear eloquent testimony to their piety. Navayats are migrants predominantly from Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and a few are from Persia. They came to the Indian coast as medieval horse traders and married into the local trading community of India, the Jains, who had been converted to Islam more than 900 years ago. Thus, a new caste system emerged.
जेताते फूल मना भीतर वते वतो में खुशहालेन ताती खुश बुई हूँ
नवायती म्हणजे कारोबारा सबब 11 वर्षा फुडें आयिल्ले त्यांची रेग्युलर हिस्ट्री आमकां 9 वर्सांची पुरा मिळता आनी 600 वर्सां फुडें जामिया मस्जिद कंस्ट्रक्शन करचे टायमार आमकां खुतबा मेळ्ळा आहे तेजे तर बरोवन अशें की ही मिजगत भल्ली पोरणी तेज्यान साबीत जाता ही 400-500 वर्सां फुडेंच बांदून गेल्ली अबावट 600 अबावट 900 वर्सां फुडें ती जामिया मस्जिद बांदून गेल्ली आनी त्यो वखत चुकून आरबे हिंगा येवन साखरे वेपार आनी टायल्स आनी हिंगाचे मसाले हिंगातून घेवन वते होते आनी थिंगा तुकून घोडे आनी खाजूर हाडून हिंगा विकते होते हो कारबार भल्ली जोर होतो आनी हिंगा आयला मागीर आरबी माणशे लोकल आबुल्यासरी परणे करूं सुरू केले आनी हिंगा आपली मेल्ली आपली मामा कडेन सोडून आपूण 4 मास हिंगा रावन 4 मास अरबात राहते होते तो वखत तुकून हिंगा अरबी नवायती जबान
They speak a dialect called Navayati.
कोंकणी जबान मराठी जबान
Konkani language is its base, and it's found to be an interesting mix of Persian, Arabic, Marathi and Urdu.
ही माणसाक नवी आयिल्ली
The script they use is Persian. It's an ethnic society having its own unique tradition and distinct cultural identity. A majority of Navayats have excelled in large and medium businesses.
सगळे पुरा माणसे मुसलमान जावं सुरू केले
There is a large Navayat diaspora community of economic migrants working across the globe, especially in Gulf countries like Oman, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates.
Calicut and foreign countries
सवजावचे अल्लाह तरफिन मुकर्रर साचीजेचो मालिक अल्लाहु अकबर खामनातून आगास उबे करवलो गुळा मोडे करून जमीन थोपवलो राती टिकून दिस करता रहमान.
The old and young compose beautiful Navayati songs encompassing the gamut of human life. However, most of their songs depict their deep religious faith. They remind you about the Almighty who created the world and who continues to control day-to-day happenings. The young generation follow the footsteps of the elders and compose and sing religious songs on most of the occasions.
सवजावचे अल्लाह तरफिन मुकर्रर साचीजेचो मालिक अल्लाहु अकबर.
ती वकलेची आयली शे गाडी गे मा दक्कन येऊन पला.
Here is a song for family celebrations like marriage.
साडी गे मा.
This song describes the preparations being made in the family of a bride.
चंद दिसा फुडे निकहा जालो होतो आम्ही सम्यू मिलून पळून गेले होते. वक्कल भवन्या उपर सिंगार करून लाजून शर्मोन बेसली होती शर्मोन बेसली होती. चमकती होती साडीची दारी गे मा दक्कन येऊन. मैं चाहत गुडसुल्यत पल्लो बंगलात माका नाही ऐली नजर. मैं चाहत गुडसुल्यत.
Some compositions are based on the eternal truths of human life. Another song focuses on the human values preserved by a poor family.
सुकून मका हासिल मैं उजवाड वाटी मातीयत पल्लो गुलफात माका नाही ऐली नजर. मैं चाहत गुडसुल्यत पल्लो.
बमौलैया मौलै मौलै बमौलैया मौलै अल्लाह बमौलैया मौलै साहे मुहम्मद या रसूल अल्लाह. मुझे नबियाची मदहाक करन मोजे मना गुलजार ती गुलजारी.
Proud of their culture, traditions and language, the young and old Navayats find their solace in singing. They seek peace of mind in singing spiritual Navayati compositions.
मुहम्मद या रसूल अल्लाह. जताते फूल मना बीथर वते वतो में खुशहालें. ताती खुश बुई हूँ मून दरुत भरियों मुझे नबियार. बमौलैया मौलै मौलै बमौलैया.
Most of the population in Karwar Taluka of North Kannada district is Konkani, except the official dealings in Kannada. All other dealings in daily life are done in the Konkani language. They have their age-old blood relations and bonds with Goan communities, and also deep faith in the deities of Goa, such as Sri Mallikarjun. There is no much difference in folk traditions as compared to that of Goan folk traditions. The songs, especially sung by women during a wedding ceremony while grinding on the handmill, is a common scene in Goa and Karnataka.
घरच्या देवा गाव तू नका पैसो मांडी म्हण बैस आमच्या कार्याला कार्य कार्य म्हणा गे 12 वर्ष गाजे आणि ह्या लोकाच्या गे 5 कुड साठ पुर वाचो गण उल्हासला आंब्या तुझो ताळ गे फुला तुझा झेला आधी मान केला आमच्या घरच्या देवा
Shri Mahamaya is the epithet of Shakti. The temple of Shri Mahamaya exists in Sadashivgarh. A special ritual called Deepmala is performed by the Devadasi community. A decorated dome studded with oil lamps is held by a Devadasi lady on her head and balanced while performing a rhythmic dance. It is accompanied by the music of the dhol, taso, Shenai, Surta, Shing, Zanz, and also Divza, the cluster of oil lamps carried by ladies of the community. The Divza ritual is also one of the most prominent features of the Konkani community.
आओ प्रारंभे विनंती करो श्री गणपति 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 आओ प्रारंभे विनंती करो श्री गणपति प्रारंभे विनंती करो श्री गणपति
The menfolk of Karwar Taluka celebrate the annual Shigmo festival on par with Goan folk. They form village groups to perform traditional folk dances in their respective villages, going to the courtyard of every house. The folk songs are accompanied to the music of Ghumat, Shamir, Shenai, Surt and Kasane, or Zanz, which are folk musical instruments that add rhythm to their festive mood.
अहो अज्ञानत्वारुणी सुज्ञान दे मला अज्ञानत्वारुणी सुज्ञान दे मला अहो अज्ञानत्वारुणी सुज्ञान दे मला अज्ञानत्वारुणी सुज्ञान दे मला
The Siddhi or Siddhi, also known as Habshi, Abyssinian, are an ethnic group inhabiting India and Pakistan. They are descended from the Bantu peoples of Southeast Africa. A vast majority were brought to the Indian subcontinent as slaves by Arab and Portuguese merchants. They are primarily Sufi Muslims, although some are Hindus and others are Roman Catholic Christians. Siddhis gained the reputation for physical strength and loyalty. Most of the Siddhis, those settled in the forest area of Halyar, Yellapur, Mundgod, Ankola, Sirsi and Joida Taluka of North Kannada district, migrated from Goa to escape slavery and to establish communities in safe forested areas. These Siddhis have adopted the Konkani language as their mother tongue and many other customs of their native population. Some African traditions have been preserved, which mainly include the Damami dance and the ancient folk percussion called the Mami. They make extensive use of another Goan folk musical instrument called Ghumat during their festive celebrations. The men folk perform rhythmic footwork to the beat of folk musical instruments like the Ghumat and the Shamir during Shigmo festival, which coincides with Holi. Their dance patterns as well as theatrical performances in Konkani language have the immense influence of Carnatic music and Yakshagan Bailata tradition.
हांव तुगेल घरा कडेन वचून
हा
तुगेल आवशी कडेन
हा
वाडलो येयल्ल्या गडी
हा हा
हांव आशिल्ल्या कडेन वयका काही
हा
हांव हुबळीत राबता
हा
म्हणून सांगिल्लं हाई
हा हा
त्या उतरां ऐकून तूं आज
येयलो बी होय
येयलो मरे
हा
बरें जालें
हा
जाल्यार ह्या
हा.
संग्या किती गेला गोतोस की
खबर
हांव एकटोच
हा हा
आवशी
हम्म
बापूय
हा
कोण बी
हा हा
म्हाका ना
हा
अति श्रीमंत जाण आसा
हा
घरात पैसो जावका लयतले आसा
हा
जाल्यार
हा
कितें करया हांव एकटो
ए मामा दीपावली पोरब आयले मरे देवाची आराधने करूया
करूया बरोबर करूया हा
हा करूया
धीरे देवा बरे कल्पने तुगेल नावन आराधने अरे धीरे देवा बरे कल्पने तुगेल नावन
Damami is the folk percussion instrument popular among the Siddhis. The Damami dance of the menfolk depicts the African tradition of tribal dance while beating the Damami. However, their dialogues and songs remain in Konkani. The women sing traditional folk songs on different occasions, such as naming ceremonies, weddings, and so on, seeking the blessings of God.
आम्ही आम्ही हडले नालो दबर दबरले दरली आम्ही हडले नालो दबर दबरले दरली घरच्या यजमान घरनी नालाग बेसाव दिवचे घरच्या यजमान घरनी नालाग बेसाव दिवचे पोडी आयलो नालो आणि काडी आयलो रोसू पोडी आयलो नालो आणि काडी आयलो रोसू घरच्या यजमान घरने आणि नालाग बेसाव दिवचे आमचो नवरो पुरबायचो इगर्जे सकल मा वाडतासो आमचो नवरो पुरबायचो इगर्जे सकल मा वाडतासो नवऱ्या बापरे तुझ्या मामान दिल्ली मुद्दी रे दाखल नवऱ्या बापरे तुझ्या मामान दिल्ली मुद्दी रे दाखल आमचो नवरो पुरबायचो इगर्जे सकल मा वाडतासो आमचो नवरो बायसो इगर्जी सकल मावाडतास सिद्धीना साख राम राम आमच्या वाडू वडलाक राम राम सिद्धीना साख राम राम आमच्या वाडू वडलाक राम राम.
They sing and dance on festive occasions. The accompanying songs are in Konkani, and musical support is provided with their popular percussion called the mami, and at times with the ghumat. This song tells the story of a Siddhi villager who builds a new house made of cane and invites the village for a housewarming ceremony. He serves rice, crabs, chicken, toddy, and a special mash made of red ants. He also organized a special dance by an Apshi woman. This song glorifies Siddhi tradition and culture and reminds Siddhis that they are known to be kind-hearted and loyal, but at the same time, they are also renowned as valiant tiger cubs.
लोकांनी लोकसंस्कृतीचे हे वेगळे वेगळे प्रकार सांबाळल्यात आणि हे वेगळे वेगळे प्रकार सांबाळटना जी तकालस घेवपाची गरज आसा ती तकालस घेवपी लोक आमचे मदीं आज आसात, पूण ही पिळगी बदलता. पिळगी बदलतकच फाल्यां हे लोक आमकां मेळटलेच म्हणपाची खात्री दिवं नजो. दुसरी एक भिरांत अशी आसा की पर्यटन उद्योगाक लागूनय बी आमच्या लोकसंस्कृतीचेर कांय वायट परिणाम जावं येतात. म्हणजे जें अस्सल आसा ताजे सुवातेर सिंथेटीक लोकसंस्कृतीचें कल्चर येवंक शकता, तेंय बी टाळपाची गरज आसा. आनी देखून खोलायेन अभ्यास करून जें मुळावें आनी जें आमचें जें नीज तें सांबाळून दवरपाचो प्रयत्न हो लोकसंस्कृतीच्या राखणदारांनी करपाची गरज आसा. आनी त्या खातीर फुडली पिळगेक फाटली पिळगेन कशे रितीन ही परंपरा फुडें हाडिल्ली हें कळचें म्हणून ताजें डॉक्युमेंटेशन जावपाची खूब गरज आसा.
Bye.